Knock knock.
Who's there?
Lettuce.
Lettuce who?
Lettuce in, it's cold outside.
Oh, so funny, it never gets old.
It's one of those jokes where it was funny at first, then it stopped being funny for a while, and now it's funny again. So Nisha, who do you think's the scariest character in Harry Potter?
Obviously, J.K. Rowling.
Oh man, rewriting the universe whenever she wants. Thanos. Eat your heart out. Voldemort is one of the most iconic characters from recent fiction, and as a result, when the time came to realise the character for the big screen, the production crew wanted to make sure that Voldemort was as scary in real life as he was in the books. Something the actor playing Voldemort, Ralph Fiennes, wasn't sold on up until he scared the shit out of a small child on set.
To start off with, we have to discuss how they realise Voldemort, because Ralph Fiennes has a nose.
Is it Fiends or is it Fiennes?
I don't know. Wait.
Do you know what? Either way, we're probably wrong, so let's just pronounce it both ways just to cover the bases. So Ralph Fiennes, he does have a nose in real life, like very astutely noted there, Nisha, and they realised Voldemort via a combination of practical effects and CGI. For example, Fiennes was wearing the full Voldemort costume, and he was painted and made up to look like Voldemort, and he had to wear prosthetics around his face, to make it look more like a weird snake man. And he also had to wear really uncomfortable, fake false teeth. Because Voldemort, man, he's not been going to the dentist very much. We can confirm that.
He's not got the best set of gnashes, has he really?
Which has always been my problem with Voldemort. I get it. In that universe, evil corrupts and makes people ugly.
Yeah.
It's a very lazy way of showcasing that. But they exist in a universe where, Madame Pomfrey can just, magic bones back into existence, and Hermione uses magic to fix her teeth.
Yeah, well...
Even though her parents are dentists, which is a really funny thing that I found.
There's always that question as well, why doesn't Harry fix his eyesight?
Yeah. In one book, Hermione literally uses magic to shrink her teeth.
Yeah, so...
And Harry's never fixes his eyes, and then Voldemort hasn't got a nose. And do you know what I would have much preferred Voldemort to look like? I would have preferred to look like handsome Squidward.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Yeah, do you know in SpongeBob where Squid gets all the plastic and he looks super fucking ridiculously handsome and everyone's terrified of it? I would have loved it if Voldemort did the same thing. If Voldemort just went overboard on trying to just exaggerate all the features that are classically seen as being handsome to the point where it was terrifying.
Yeah, just the...
Can you imagine handsome Squidward Voldemort?
I can see, sort of a resemblance, to be honest.
You can a bit, can't you?
Yeah.
Or that episode of Dexter's Lab. Do you remember that one? Where Dexter has plastic surgery and he gets a giant chin.
I think so. Hold on.
Oh man, why is that such a popular thing in fiction of characters getting plastic surgery to be overly handsome? When Moe does it.
Oh god,
when Moe in The Simpsons, Moe gets surgery to be more attractive. It's really weird.
Oh no, I'm just looking at Dexter's Lab picture and I forgot he's got a massive chin.
The giant chin.
He's
oh, it's so good.
He just reminds me of the hair as well. Just reminds me of Johnny Bravo style.
Oh man, Johnny Bravo's fucking awesome. It's why did Voldemort look like any of those things, but instead he looks like a weird snake man? And the answer is because J.K. Rowling's not a very imaginative writer because he's evil, so he has to be ugly.
Yeah.
Is it one of the Fantastic Beasts film where it's oh yeah, Nagini is an Asian lady because Asian ladies turn into snakes. It's yeah. Fucking top tier right in there, Rowling. Top tier fucking right. Anyway, so in addition to all those practical prosthetics and things like that, Fiennes also had to have loads of dots stuck all over his face so they could CGI his nose off.
Yeah.
And as you probably tell from this behind the scenes photo, it was a very thrilling process.
Yeah, he looks so happy. Well, I can't imagine him being thrilled if you have to sit for hours on end in a chair every day doing the same thing, getting the same makeup put on you, these dots sprawled all over your face.
Yeah, I think that's a universal complaint from actors who have to appear in roles like this where it's great, I loved it, I'll never do it again. And I think the worst story I've ever heard about that happening to an actor is Jim Carrey in The Grinch. So are you familiar with what he had to do for that role?
Not familiar, but I can imagine the makeup process would have taken fucking forever.
Well, he described it as tortuous. Because it required 7 to 8 hours of sitting in a makeup chair. And I don't use the word tortuous lightly here because Jim Carrey, after I think the first time he sat down and had the makeup applied, went, I can't do it. And he got a guy from the CIA who teaches people how to cope under torture to teach him how to put up with sitting in the chair.
Oh my God.
For 7 hours and having people painstakingly just put stuff on his face. And while he himself hasn't described what the torture felt like, I would compare it to, are you familiar with Chinese water drop torture?
I think so. I think I've heard the word.
You've probably heard of it, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not completely
sure. It works
sure.
like this. It's you strap someone down to a chair and you lock their head in place and you get a drop of water that lands in the centre of their forehead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it just does that at an irregular rhythm. That doesn't sound too bad, does it, Nisha?
Not to start with, no.
No, well, they did it on Mythbusters, because obviously whenever you describe it, like, that doesn't sound like torture.
Yeah.
They did it on Mythbusters, and one of the guys, after like 5 minutes, nearly went insane. He's like, I can't stand it. Get me the fuck out of here, this is awful.
Oh, God.
And it's just one of those things, and it reminds me of one time I went to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And I got a haircut from the guy who couldn't cut fucking hair. And I'm going to describe something to all the people out there. It put my teeth on edge. Like I was gripping, like the seat I was in, because I was just like in that much, just like frustration. Where he grabbed my hair, and rather than Joe, when you get your haircut, you have that satisfying crunch. So this is like
yeah.
as it goes through the snippity snip of the scissors.
Yeah.
This guy grabbed every bit of my hair and trimmed the edge and just went. On the edge of the hair and never actually cut it. And he did that for half an hour on every individual part of my head. And after I stood up and went, I can't do it. I want someone else to cut my hair. It is awful. And I imagine being sat in a makeup chair, just having someone like paint over a part of your face over and over and over again. He's like that feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. Especially like if Jim Carrey had to sit in the chair for like 7 to 8 hours, that's like a full shift. That's like a full shift of sitting, and then you've got to work, you've got to act. For God knows how long.
Because obviously you want the full day of filming, he had to start that at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's hard life.
It is, yeah. So it's a tough thing. And like Ralph Fiennes didn't go through something like that laborious, but it was still like difficult to put up with every single fucking day he was filming. And in addition to that, he obviously had to wear the costume of Voldemort, which you'd think would be quite comfy, wouldn't you? It's just long flowing robes.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it looks quite heavy. A little bit heavy.
It is, yeah. So it's like, and it's probably a bit smelly as well, because obviously it's big, heavy robes under hot studio lights. But that wasn't the uncomfortable part. The uncomfortable part was that you had to wear stockings.
What?
To stop his dick from falling out of the costume. And according to Fiennes, he kept falling over these stockings. So after a while, the production crew got him a garter.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
You don't have to take my word for that, because here is a behind-the-scenes photo of Ralph Fiennes dressed as Voldemort, wearing stockings and suspenders.
That is amazing.
He just looks like Voldemort is looking lean. Like he's ready for a night. He's looking like, a dark wizard of the night. Ready for a night on the town. Like Voldemort and his fuck me stockings, man.
So now, like, every time I watch a Harry Potter film, I'm going to be imagining what Voldemort is wearing underneath his robe.
Yeah, he's wearing stockings and suspenders, and that's similar to Star Wars. Grand Moff Tarkin, are you familiar with that story?
No, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. We're probably going to get shit for that.
No, it's fine. Like, I don't think many people are fans of Star Wars anymore, so that's okay. Grand Moff Tarkin, the guy who played in Peter Cushing, hated the boots for his costumes. They were too small.
Right.
And he said, look, can you just film me from, the feet up? And I went, yeah, sure. It's like, you're a big name actor and we don't really want to, piss you off. And he went, okay, sure. And then wore pink slippers. So pink fuzzy slippers whenever, he wasn't, being filmed, from, the feet up.
Yeah.
Which means that Grand Moff Tarkin canonically destroyed Alderaan wearing slippers. Which makes him more evil to me.
That is so good.
Just more evil. And it's like I think the person who played Greedo wore high heels, so they'd be as tall as Han Solo. like Harrison Ford. So Greedo's wearing high heels. It's like, yeah!
Isn't there stories where actors stand on boxes and stuff, to be as tall as people or taller than people like Tom Cruise?
Yeah, the one that springs to mind immediately, and I'm hoping we can get a picture of this. I'm not sure what the rights will be for it, but Robert Downey Jr. wears ridiculously exaggerated Cuban heels. To the point where he looks like he's wearing the old joke thing of a shoe with a block of wood on the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like he's wearing them, and he wears giant flares to cover the fact he's wearing Cuban heels, so he's as tall as everyone else in this film.
I'll have to try and find a picture. If not, I could probably try and Photoshop it. Just do it.
You can if you want. And then you have Tom Cruise, who in the Mission Impossible movies, Tom Cruise, I think he's 5'7", 5'8", and he's starring alongside Ving Rhames, who's 6'2", 6'3", and they're the same height in the film. It's come on.
Bringing it back to Ralph Fiennes and moving past the lady... Fiends or Fiennes.
Who cares?
I'm sure someone will correct us. Moving past the lady's underwear, what was it about the costume that made it scary?
I think it's the combination of all those things, like, that was then enhanced by just, like, the strength of Fiennes's acting. And according to people on set, like, when he got into character as Voldemort, he was fucking terrifying. And Daniel Radcliffe said, the first day I met Fiennes in full costume, I was more scared and intimidated by him than I was when I first saw Alan Rickman in full Snape outfit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and Snape is pretty scary as well.
Yeah. And I think even people who aren't really fans of Harry Potter will admit that Alan Rickman owned that role and was fucking terrifying in the role of Snape. And speaking of costumes and behind-the-scenes shenanigans, did you ever hear what Alan Rickman did when he was approached by, the costume director for, all the films?
No, what did he do?
He told them, you don't need to talk to me. I'm just going to wear the same outfit in every film. If you look, if you picture me behind me, Snape wears literally the same outfit in every single film he's in, whereas every other actor wears a different thing.
Yeah.
And Alan Rickman's reasoning is Snape doesn't give a shit. Why would Snape change his clothes? And the costume director went, well, that's a fair point, yeah. Just wear the same thing. So he just wore the same outfit.
That sounds like an article in itself, like Snape just doesn't give a shit.
Oh yeah, there's a few things because I went to Harry Potter World and saw some of the behind the scenes details. The one that got me though is that if you is it Dolores Umbridge, her costumes, as she gets more evil, her outfit gets more pink.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just a really dumb thing, and also I imagine now, whenever I think of Dolores Umbridge's office, I think of the office that you would like to work in.
Yeah, all the cats. All the cats on the wall.
No, even just the cats on the wall. I just think, when I think of that scene, I think Nisha would actually like to work in here unironically, just thousands and thousands of cats.
It is ideal, but I wouldn't be evil. I wouldn't be horrible. It would be a nice cat.
But you would like to work in that office.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I always compare that scene, though, to people who have too many anime figurines. If she'd have just had one cat thing on the wall, that'd be fine. But it's the fact she's got 300 that makes it unnerving and creepy.
Yeah, it's just too
it's
many.
The same thing if you go into a guy's house, and he's got one figurine or a poster tastefully on the wall. That's all right. But if he's got 300 fucking Bishojo statues, maybe I made a mistake coming back with this guy.
Yeah, I can imagine someone doing that with a load of pop vinyls as well. It's I like pop vinyls, but not when they're all over the wall. In their packaging as well.
Yeah, I remember when we used to film back in the fucking old ass days of factory, early days, pre fucking tattoo and stop giving a shit Carl.
Yeah.
When I used to go walk to film with Brad, there was a guy's house, and I'd always go. His flat was on the ground floor. I saw his bedroom, and it had 300 Funko Pops in it.
Oh god.
And every time I walked past it, I went, "He's never getting fucking laid."
No.
Because one, no girl's going to stay in that room, and two, he wouldn't let the girl be on the bed. She might knock over his Funko Pops.
Yeah, it's kind of like the film 40-year-old version, because...
okay, I've not seen that.
Have you not seen that? It's the one with Steve Carell.
Describe it to me.
So, the title kind of explains itself. He's 40 years.
Yes.
He's never had 40 years. He's a 40-year-old and he's never had sex. But if you go to his house is just full of figurines in boxes and stuff like that. Loads of gaming stuff. It's very nerdy, very geeky. And then he finally gets...
Man, that film's aged terribly, hasn't it? Oh man, being a nerd will never be cool. And now you've got Henry Cavill and every woman in the world thirsting after him as he's just on Instagram painting his Warhammer figurines.
But
everyone loves him for it.
There's a bit where he finally gets a date with a woman, and his friends are right, you need to hide some of your stuff or most of your stuff because this shit's not sexy.
Is that the most insulting thing you see in rom-coms?
Yeah.
Don't be yourself with a woman, it won't attract them. It's then why do I want to sleep with this person if I can't be myself around them?
Yeah.
And that's not to say get 400 fucking anime figurines. Just have a classy looking apartment, man. It's not hard. Classy. I've got a picture of RoboCop above my bed, but it's framed, and that's classy.
Okay, so once again, bringing it back to Ralph Fiennes.
Fiennes, yes.
What is this about him scaring a child?
Well, yeah, scaring, a teenage, burgeoning adult Daniel Radcliffe was one thing, but according to fans, he wasn't fully satisfied or had much faith in the fact his costume was all that good. Right up until he walked out onto set in full costume, you have to show everyone what it looked like, and he walked past the 5-year-old son of production assistant.
Yeah.
who looked at him with just like wonder in their eyes of like, who is this strange, weird snake man? And he looked at them and sneered at the child like they were a turd on his breakfast. And the kid immediately burst into tears. To which Fiennes just like quietly fist pumped to himself. He said, yes, nailed it. Which to me is a very Voldemort thing to do.